The following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Am I Mental? A live podcast where people share stories about how mental health impacts life and life impacts mental health. I'm your host, E. With us tonight, we have our co-hosts, Os. And Jay.
Hello.
And welcome to our new days. Saturday, and time. Make it a little bit easier for our East Coast listeners, so we're not asking you to stay up to as late as possibly midnight. Now we're only asking for as late as possibly 11 p.m. But, the clubs start bouncing about after 11 anyway, so, we got you covered. That's where we're at. This season, we're trying to focus a little bit on the season of updates. So even though we will have some new guests, we're trying to get as many former guests back in to give us updates on how things are going, especially ones that you guys seem to really resonate with. So tonight we have back T.
What up? Hello, everybody.
So if you could maybe refresh us a little bit on why you were on before, and then let's go on and see how you're doing now.
Oh, wow. So last time when I did it, it was on my mom's 24-year death anniversary. And so, and she died by suicide when I was 17. So I wanted to do something kind of just different, celebrate her death day on a different day, make it about something better than what it normally is every year. So, and that really did help. I mean, this year was 25 years since she's passed away, and and I felt like I've got a lot more closure on her, which is a good thing.
Good.
That's been a big battle. But I quit working at Apple. Stopped doing that. So I stopped doing the tech world thing and started working with real world people. Got out of my shell a little bit because I had a nervous breakdown not too long after the show. Unfortunately, I went to Oregon for about 2.5 months. I wanted to watch my kid. Everything's always about my kids. So I moved my life for 2.5 months and left my youngest son, Cody, here with his brother and his oldest brother, and watched Kane play football for about 2.5 months. So that was his senior year. And that was a really hard time because I forgot how bad seasonal depression was, especially in Oregon.
You mean you moved to where it gets darker?
What was I thinking? I was like, what was I thinking?
Hey, it could have been worse. You could have gone to Alaska.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, that would have been so bad. And then, I didn't sleep, so it was like I was trying to get all acclimated again, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So, but I got to watch him play his senior year, so that was good, and then my youngest son came up and visited for about a week, and we drove back, my little road dog, and now he's a senior in high school, so yeah.
Super fast.
yeah. I'm like going, oh my God, he's 17 and he's going to graduate high school. What am I going to do? I have no idea. My friend's trying to get me back out to Oregon again. So we'll
Doesn't sound like that might be a good idea.
Yeah, Jay knows all too well about Oregon and its weather patterns and everything.
Yeah.
I'm in the sunnier half of it, though.
Yeah, you're in the southern half.
Yeah, I'm like well, maybe I should only go for a little bit part of the year, and then
I would
come
recommend
back.
going up during the summertime when the days are longer
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
like my favorite time to
Yeah.
visit Washington, July. Just,
Yeah.
just flat out,
Yeah.
June and July.
And what's so crazy is like my dream place is Lincoln City, Oregon. I've been talking about that for how long? I think Austin probably heard me talk about that before a long time ago. Lincoln City, Oregon. That's my spot. I go every time I go out there, and I'm like, that's where I want to end up. But it's so gloomy.
You can get some of them happy lights in your house if you end up there.
Yeah, I'm pulling up
Yeah.
to see exactly where it's at right now in relation.
It's
Oh,
right
wow.
over
Yeah,
there.
that's basically due west of Salem. That's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Not
and
too far
when
from
I lived
Portland.
in
Beautiful,
Oregon-
though. It is
Yep.
beautiful.
When I lived in Oregon, I lived in Independence for 4 years, and my boys went to school there when I lived up in Oregon. It's a nice little, I don't know, it's a little quaint town right there with Western Oregon. You got right there too. So
Yeah, I'm down in Medford, so I get I do
Are
get the
ya?
sun. Yeah.
I was actually born in
I have-
Medford.
were you really?
Yep.
There's a girl I used to work with at another company virtually. She lives in Medford. That's where she lives.
And I will just say this. Today I learned that Tillamook is actually a city in Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and they make cheese.
Yes,
and
they
have
do.
this big, huge thing, and
Tillamook cheese is good stuff, man. I'm not going to
Oh,
lie.
man.
Yeah,
it is some of the best. They sell it here. The only thing you can't get is the Marionberry Tillamook ice cream, man. And every time I go to
Oh,
Oregon,
it's so good.
you cannot get Marionberry outside of Oregon. So, like, my first stop is usually to Sherry's, and I'll have a Marionberry pie.
Yeah,
And, that's going to be like, and the shake I got to have, like, right when I get
So now I have to go to Wairika, which is about as close to Oregon as you get without crossing the border, and see if I could get any of that there. See if it really is see if the border really is the line.
Because it was developed at Oregon State University back in like 1952, 1950
Corvallis,
something,
Beavers!
And guess what? My son's a freshman at Oregon State University this year. Go Beavers!
Hey,
Go
they
Kings,
they won the
Beavers,
Civil
all
War.
cool. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Oh, you should have seen it. I went up to my dad's house, and everybody there are Oregon fans. I'm the only Oregon State fan. Halftime, they were down, by like 21. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of what I was expecting because the Beavers, they're never really, they're always in the top 25, but they never get top 10. And then
Yeah,
that comeback
they don't.
happened, and they won. It was so awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. My son's up there living that college life. He's trying to get into frat and doing all this stuff. So I'm just like, please be safe. I'm scared.
Yeah, so is he going to play football for the Beavers?
Mm-mm. He told me actually, so part of this last summer, my son came when he graduated high school at Amity. Him and a few other kids were picked and they went to work in Alaska over the summer. They worked at a cannery. And so he was in like this big room with this, it's like a big box, this big plastic box that has water and it's got all the salmon, so all the fish and all this stuff come down and he's cleaning that out and then he's putting it up the chute. And he said, sometimes I'd have 60, 70-hour days. And I was like, holy crap, I never thought my son Kane would ever get dirty like that.
That's some endurance.
Yeah, so, and he got picked, he's going back next year as supervisor, so, and that's how he's paying his way through college. He is not getting any help. He does it on his own, so that's what he's doing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, because I always said, I can't pay. I'm poor, sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't even finished my degree at Oregon State yet. So yeah, it'll be a minute.
You said yet. Is that one of your goals?
Oh yeah, Oz
Yeah.
knows I'm a lifelong learner.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
she was working a full-time job, taking a full-time load at the same time in school, and still making time for her kids' sports and extracurriculars. Like she slept on like Tuesdays. You know.
Yeah.
That was about it.
So often?
Yeah, no, I remember that too. When I would talk to her back in the day, I was just like, my Lord, you're working yourself to the bone.
Yeah, Uber, Lyft, worked full time at Apple, did 16 credit hours, single mom. I had my two boys, was going through a divorce. I had my two boys, and Kane, when he was ninth grade, so he was at that age, you know, and yeah, but I was just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of work.
Kat in the chat just said, oh, it's Tuesday. I get to sleep.
Exactly. I remember posting on Facebook like, yay, I get to sleep. It's fall break or something, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. She was going at school so hard. I think it was an analytics class that she was going through that was frustrating her. So we were supposed to meet for a one-on-one work. I'm supposed to coach her on her job, and she's like, "Can you take a look at this paper for me?" So we were going over her homework in our one-on-one.
Because listen, back in the day, I remember having calls, long silences where I could sit and I could study and I'd do my schoolwork right in between calls. I'd have like 20 minutes. Oh.
All right, so JB, he's in our chat right now, and he came in a little late, so I had to catch him up a little bit. That you were here originally on the anniversary of your mother's passing, and now we're doing the catch up. And he said, "I hope that T is hanging in there, and I hope she's found peace. My mother passed in 2012. It was tough for me."
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I knew it was going to happen. Like I said in the last podcast, I mean, you know, and I think after you heard and everything, I mean, it was bound to happen with her.
And I will say that JB, you, me, and us all have something in common.
Oh. So,
as a matter of fact, for the listeners, the reason that Os became a part of this podcast is largely due to T. Yes, T came on and let Os know, hey, I'm going to be a guest on this podcast that my buddies runs, and Os came in and listened, and he... you go ahead and tell your story about it if you want.
Yeah, let's hear it, Oz. I want to hear you talk.
Yeah.
I always liked it.
What? That put me on the spot. Like the audio broke up right when you said that. So what is it that you want to hear from me?
I was saying that T is largely responsible for how you became a part of the Am I Mental family here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. She told me. So T's been involved with mental health and been an advocate of mental health, especially suicide prevention, for a really long time. And when she told me that she was going on a mental health podcast, I wanted to support her. And she was telling me a little bit about Am I Mental. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty dope. And she told me that you ran it, and she was like, I think you know him. I was like, who? And she's like, E. And she explained who you were. I was like, no, really? I was like, okay. And because we knew each other like passingly at Apple,
and
right?
And also before that, because of
the mutual friend.
Yeah.
Our mutual asshole.
Yes.
I love that guy. Can't nobody destroy my self-esteem like him. He does it in a loving way.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But once I found I I wanted to listen to Terry's story because we had talked. Her, gotta call myself. That's my first one. I didn't do it a single time all last season. Put me on your list. Damn it.
You did it.
I did it.
Well, it sounds like you're better than me.
Yeah, I made it through a whole season. But we, she had told me a lot about her stories, and I was like, I want to hear more in detail. Hear about them because they're just so. She has so many life experiences, both in seeking help, receiving help, but also giving help. And then I heard how everybody interacted, and then the chat room, and I was just like, all right, this is a pretty dope place, And because I had the reminder on my phone to listen to T's episode, it would come on every Thursday. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to hop in and listen. And I just got more and more involved. So, yeah, T's a catalyst for you being here right now.
Yeah. And then you had your episode because you started sharing in the chat, so we got you on, and now here you are. And I genuinely consider you family. Genuinely consider you a brother.
I appreciate it. I feel the same. Yeah, even came over for Halloween and everything.
Yep. Had fun kicking it at your property.
Yeah. His kid's adorable.
Here soon, I'll be able to fly out there. No strings.
Hey, you're always welcome.
Yeah, you come on out and let me know.
We're supposed to link up a couple of times. We're supposed to link up a couple of times. I can't remember why I was going to go up there. But, I mean, don't really need a reason to go see her. But things didn't work out.
Yeah.
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 Life doesn't allow you to travel. Like, no, you're needed here.
Yeah.
You showed a lot on your previous episode. What would have been your experiences since then? And the boys are a little bit older, and
well, so my one, he's graduated, and that's great, and he's moved out now. He lives on campus, So I will say honestly, one thing about that is nice is I do hear from him more now. Previously because of that other person, didn't ever want to talk to mom because everything that you're saying to mom's being listened to, So, but now I do hear from him more occasionally, so that's always a nice thing.
Good.
He's doing good. He's boxing. He was doing that back in ninth grade off. Ninth grade when I was up there in Oregon. Remember me sending you videos of him boxing, him and his friends. Yeah, he's like, I've never had so much. Yeah, he said, I've never had so much love and admiration when I walked into the ring. He said, football's. He said, because that's like an afterthought, whatever. He said that was
her kid could model play football or knock people out in the ring. Plus,
and have a
4.0 student. So we need to know how to raise perfection. We got.
And I'm going to tell you, I come from a ninth grade education. I dropped out of school. Really, technically, if you really want to be honest, my brother, when he died when I was 13, I really didn't pay much attention to school after that. I remember one time I was in seventh grade and one science teacher, giving me like an extra amount of homework because he's like, oh, this is going to get your mind off. Then after that, I was, fuck this school shit. You think this is, so really, I have more life than what I have. School life has really educated me in some hard knocks.
My dad.
And I had a hard knock this year.
I was going to say, my dad's senior quote really sums it up well about life. That life is the toughest teacher. She gives you the lesson first, or she gives you the test first and the lesson after.
Yeah. I'm still, I'm still. It's been what in March it'll be 30 years from brother. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to find out what that lesson's about. 30 years
And
later.
you did mention that you took a hard knock this year. Did you want to talk about that?
So I had really given up on, like being with somebody. Austin knows I'm really quick to fall for somebody. And I think it's because I'm so empath. I'm so in tune to how somebody is. I want to heal them, all this and that, and that's how I am. But I feel like, when I took this new position, I mean, it was just like this year was supposed to be a year of new, great, wonderful. And it was full of lots of wonderful, great things. And I met somebody, and that's the person that, we had decided, we'd had past marriages. We're not going to go there anymore. This is just who I'm going to spend my life with, and we're going to be private about it more so. We're not going to be the type of people to be out there on, not saying anything wrong, but we don't need to be out there showing everybody our business. It's just us. This is for us, and we're going to share.
You're living for each other,
and that's it. All that matters is that we're okay, and that we have our tribe, just us. And it just started out as, it was so funny. The first time I met that person was the first night of my work at that job, and this place, like I said, so I traveled. I traveled out of Oklahoma. I was gone usually from like Monday to Friday, sometimes even longer than that. But I travel in Kansas a lot, Nebraska, Missouri, Nebraska, Colorado, and I'd reset stores, go in and make all the people mad. When you move one canned good to another aisle, where the hell is that canned good at? Making them mad. But so I remember seeing this person, and I was like, man, I think maybe that's the person. That's my person. And I remember going into the hotel room, and I called my sissy, which is my best friend forever. And I was like, man, I seen this guy, and I was like, I swear to God, if we end up working together, it's going to be like Grey's Anatomy. I just don't know any other way to put it. That's just what it's going to be, right? So I'm sitting there in the hotel room because where we work, they pay for our hotels and all this and that. And I'm getting ready, and I go off, and I get there early because I'm always early wherever I work or for whatever. I'm always 15, 20 minutes early. And then like 1 minute before 7 o'clock rolls in, here I see this person come in, and I went, holy shit. It's Grey's Anatomy. What the hell am I going to do? No, you are starting this new job. Not for nothing. Not to be friends. Nothing. Stay focused. This is new. New life. New by yourself. Okay. And then like 2 days later, I was like, hey, I like your kick. He had on pink Vans. And I was like, any guy that can be as buff, because he's a bodybuilder. I was like, be that big and wear pink.
I saw that picture. That's huge. That dude is super swole. Like,
was a beast. And so, and then it's just casual conversation. Hey, you smoke? Yeah, I smoke. And then we were never apart, like never apart. And then in the end of September, it was like September 26, 27, 28, something like that. We were watching, it was the Dallas Cowboys game. It was on a Sunday. We were watching football, doing what we do. And man, this dude would eat, like, we had just went to Taco Bell, and this is normal. This is a snack for him. Was 9 he had 9 like of those Dorito, those Locos tacos or whatever. He ate 9.
The Doritos Locos.
Yeah, that's a snack. I mean, for him it was nothing. And then we're sitting there, and he's like, his stomach just all of a sudden just got really big, and I was like, and then he was saying his stomach was hurting, and then a few hours later I was like, babe, I'm taking to the hospital. Then he was like, okay, so he Googled this one, and I wish that's not where we would have went, but it's what happened. So we went there, and then they told us it was food poisoning. I said, I just ate the same thing he did. I mean, literally, we ordered 12. I had 3. He had 9. I'm not sick, and then they ask these stupid questions, and then of course, they're like, well, when you smoke pot, does it make your stomach hurt? I don't think that's the reason why people smoke that do choose to smoke. I don't think that's a side effect to make it hurt. You know what I mean? And
Right.
just dismissed us and gave us nausea medicine. And they're like, oh, he'll be better in a couple of days. Okay. So, we thought he was going to be okay. We went to work out of town. He didn't go that first night. I mean, he had been throwing up a lot. And I didn't exactly know what it was, but he was like, try to make me eat, I tried to make me eat. Didn't know that was just making it worse. But we ended up on a Wednesday night. He said, hey, I need you to come on break and take me to the hospital. So I took him to the hospital in the city that we were in, and he messaged me and he said, babe, they're life flight. That I got a kink in my bowel. And I was just like, oh my God. I finished, and he goes, don't leave. He goes, just come up here and give me the keys, because I'll be back home before you know. He goes, I'll be back home. They're just going to go in, they're going to cut it. They're going to send me where I need to go. And I was like, okay. Went up there, gave him the keys, everything. Went back, finished work, drove from work, because I worked from 7 at night to 5:30 in the morning. Drove from where I was to Wichita, about 2.5, 3 hours, and stayed up at the hospital all day. And come to find out, that's not really what it was. They took him into surgery that night. He was in there for 6.5 hours the first time. His bowel had perforated. They had to take about a foot and a half of his bowel. Could not close his wound up, so he had a wound back. They went back in every 48 hours, if not sometimes a little bit less than 48 hours. And then so they went back in. They cut a foot and a half of his bowel, left the wound back, had all that stuff going. He was septic. He was sicker than he thought, but he was fighting it, so they had him in restraints. But he had 9 surgeries in 19 days. They finally closed him on the 19th day. We're lowering the sedation on him. Thought he was doing better. 20th day, I'm there. And mind you, by the way, I'm working. I came and saw Cody, I think, once while he was while my life partner was in the hospital. I came home one time and I left. I couldn't stay gone. I had to be at the hospital. No, only one person came. I was there every day but one day. And not even his mother showed up until 15 hours after he died to get his body. But he had a massive heart attack while I was sitting there holding his hand on the 20th day. And they tried for 20 minutes to bring him back, and they couldn't. And I said, now I've had every loss. I've lost a life partner. I've lost an uncle. I've lost a father. I've lost a mother. I've lost a brother. I've lost cousins. I've lost grandparents. I've lost great grandparents. I don't have anything else that I can lose at this point.
I'm sorry.
So, but it started out a great year.
Yeah. you were telling me when you first told me the story how like the days that you were working, you were commuting hours a day, right, back and forth. If you did have to leave, you would, you'd be by his side, go do what you got to do, drive 2.5 hours, work a full shift, and then drive 2.5 hours back or whatever it took. We were joking before about you never really sleeping, because of school and work. But that's a whole different ballpark right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was something, because it was like, I just didn't. I don't know. I think because the type of mother I am, and I surround myself with mothers that are like-minded like me, especially when it comes to their kids that are very supportive. It doesn't matter. They're your kid, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. That's just how I am.
I get that.
And for a mother to be like, I'm going to light candles and say prayers, that's all you're going to give. And I tell you, your son is on the ventilator and has been on the ventilator every day. And he woke up like, why is this tube in me? I don't even know what's going on. I thought they were just going to snip some scar tissue, and they were going to, and it was going to be an outpatient thing, and it was going to be quick and easy, and I was going to go home. And then, like, every time I mention your name, he cries. And then you're not there, and then everybody in the family, they don't like me. No, none of them like me, because I said what I felt needed to be said to his mother for not being there for her child when she should have been there. But she could show up 15 hours. That's how she lived in Del Rio, Texas. And she was like, oh, it's a long drive.
Yeah.
You know how many drives I would take for my kid that lives in Oregon, which is farther than what your kid is, and yours is on life support. So don't.
Yeah,
No.
No, I couldn't be friends with someone like that. I'm sorry. If one of my kids was on life support, you couldn't stop me from getting there.
No.
Yeah, and not even life support. My daughter lives in Louisiana, and I heard she was just in the hospital, like admitted to the hospital. Hell or high water, I'm finding a way to get to New Orleans. Like that, like
I'm telling you,
hold my beer and try to stop me. Like,
yeah,
I'm telling you, every day I'm like, we removed 1.5 feet of your son's bowel, and you haven't made it yet. Something's not right. Well, I gotta work. Well, I gotta work too, but I was still calling in the middle of the night. Every night I called the nurse. And the nurses were always like, I'm so glad you're here. Because a lot of times when family would come, heart rates would rise and blood pressure would rise, all that stuff. He would calm down every time. So they hated it when I wasn't there. Because when I was there, he was always calm, cool, collected.
You're the safe place.
Yeah.
See, I knew I always liked you, T.
And I don't know why.
And she's talking about all these amazing qualities. She's like, you're an absolutely amazing person. You've gone through hell and back, and you still have a smile on your face. You still laugh. Yeah, there's a lot to like about you.
Well, I tell you what, I was talking to Oz earlier, and I was like, I just be honest with people, every day I wake up wanting to eat a bowl. Every day I wake up like, why did I wake up today? What is it for today? What am I going to learn? What lesson do I have to learn today?
Yeah.
That's life, it's full of lessons. You just got to learn them and go through them, and hopefully something good comes out of it.
Yeah, and if
I remember you and I were talking about it like way back about the trials and tribulations that life keeps putting us through. Like I don't feel like, I've been through some shit and I haven't been through nothing compared to you. And, and we were talking about it, and I think it was like, what really kind of reiterated this thought with that conversation with you, which is that the shit that life puts us through, sometimes when we can't find the answer, that it can simply be because
we haven't dug deep enough.
To be put through it. We're strong enough to be put through it. And at some point, someone's going to get put in our lives that isn't as strong as us, and we're going to be able to hold their hand through it because we've been through it before.
Yeah.
And me personally, I got to fall back on that, or I'm going to go to jail over some dumb shit.
Somebody sent me, one of my friends sent me one, because I was like, man, I had to see my psychiatrist, Monday, and I was like, hopefully they don't lock me in, like, try to lock me in a padded cell or nothing, because I'm too honest with my answers or whatever. But they were like, no, you just need to ask them for a prescription of this. And I was like, of what? And they sent me a picture, and it's a prescription of fuck it all. And I was like, I am the one that's going to go in and go, can I please have some fuck it all? Let's fuck it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
Maximum
done.
strength.
Please.
Yeah, no, but you show a lot of resilience. I mean, if your baseline is waking up and wondering why you woke up, yet you're still pushing through, still persevering, you're still there for your kids, you're still learning and improving yourself. I mean, seriously. We're not supposed to say, they say don't compare your hardships to somebody else's. But
I don't think I've been through anything. I think it's normal.
But
I think this is just life.
See, and I look at it as like, you have been through so much that would have destroyed me. It's called, I'm acknowledging that your struggle is worse than my struggle, but I'm not trying to downplay my struggle. It's still my struggle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has a struggle, and everybody's is just fucking hard. That's what people don't realize. I mean, pain is just, that's what it is. It's pain in every kind of sense of the word. It's awful. And that's, I was listening to one of the episodes on suicide awareness, and you're trying to get the semicolon, right?
Yep.
And I have 3 of them. I've got my warrior on my right one, and then I got my survivor, and then I have fighter on the back of my neck, because I remember those times. I remember it the first time that I tried to take my life. I mean, when I was just a teenager, and then, right after my dad marrying that woman after my mom died, and then after my divorce twice, and that person coming in and finding me, and stopping. So, I mean, that stigma really needs to go away. And I really hope that one day they come on your show, because it's really needed. Somebody from there.
Yeah, I would love to get someone from Project Semicolon on here.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is. It's just take a breath. It's just a moment, right? This too shall pass. At least that's what I keep telling myself.
Yep,
This too shall pass.
There is a guy I just started following on Facebook, who he's like the most unassuming, tiny little guy, kind of a tiny voice. You'd never suspect that he's a self-made billionaire. And someone asked, what's the greatest piece of advice that you had ever been given? And his advice was, this too shall pass. That has allowed him to endure a lot of blows before he finally rose up to where he is now.
Yeah.
And that's something that can be applied to anyone. You don't have to be a billionaire for that to apply to. This too shall pass.
I say I heard Tom Hanks say that. It's like talking about the bad times, the worst times, the times you feel like you're not going to survive. But to keep you humble, the best times when you're winning, when you get the contract you didn't think you could, you come into a large sum of money, or you win the lotto, like that too shall pass. Like it is, life is peaks and valleys, and it's the challenge is riding in the middle.
Yep. I mean,
but not, that it doesn't rain forever, but it ain't a perfect 72 on the beach forever either.
yeah.
And with that understanding, you could hope for that perfect 72-degree day on the beach, but having that expectation, you set yourself up for failure. The midline is the best we can hope for, and it sounds kind of bleak, but it's the reality of things. And when I'm having bad days, like when I'm having bad mental health days, I'm not thinking of that perfect day. I'm like, I'm wishing, praying, and begging for my baseline, for middle of the road. Just give me that. Don't give me anything wonderful. Just give me some bit of normalcy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, life itself is very mercurial. That's a good way to put it, I think. It's moment to moment. It really is. And a lot of it also is perception. And as you can try to perceive, it's like you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react, how you respond. You can't control how you feel about it, but you can control how you respond. And that, in turn, can actually influence your feelings about it as well, to a degree. So you can actually raise your baseline a little bit, as Oz was putting, just by having a good mindset.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge right there for me.
And often when you control your response to something, and you don't wild out about it, like going super high or super low, you don't drag that thing out. If somebody super offends you and you go off, and then you tell everybody about how they offended you, and you're talking about on, and you strike up more and more conversations about it, like you're living in that offense for as long as somebody will listen to your story. If you take a deep breath and be like, if you can take a deep breath and walk away from it and maybe calm down a little bit, you might still be pissed, but it's not going to totally engulf your life, for that moment.
But sometimes
I wish it was. It's a lot easier with offense than it is with something like depression. I wish, you can't just tell somebody to bottle that up and shut up about it, because that's wrong. That's not what I'm saying by any means.
right.
That's mainly for anger.
Anger goes away eventually. It just does.
Yeah, I realized, like, this time, I've been really angry. I'm angry today. I'm laughing and all that, but deep down, I'm angry, and I was told off just kind of a little bit earlier about it, so I can't drink. Like, I've quit drinking. It is just like the fuel that just lights the fire. So, I've been sitting here waiting for myself. I was like, I'm going to snap. It's going to happen, and it's going to be so bad when it does. Because when I snap on myself. I don't snap on anybody else. So, I went out to the bar. Wrong place to go after I told myself all day, stay home. Just stay home, You don't need to go anywhere. You can have a beer at the house if you want to have a beer. You don't need to go out to have it. Well, I go out and I get snockered. And then my cousin comes with me. And next thing you know, we're coming back to the house. Get out of the car. She's helping me, I guess. I don't know. I throw myself onto the concrete. And I bruised all my right side, all the way down. But I had snapped. I had sit there and I watched it all day, And when I started drinking, it just got worse. And I was in that manic mode of the bipolar, really heavy, where I was like, yeah, I'm happy. Let me dance around and have lots of fun. And then I came upstairs and destroyed my apartment in front of my kid, because my cousin thought that was better to wake him up than to deal with me, I guess.
Ouch.
Which is crazy. Yeah, which, could very well at some point in time listen to this, and I really don't care. It's the truth. The truth always hurts, It's just that's and my kid carried me to bed, but I tore up my apartment, broke mirrors, broke my microwave, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, the next day I remember taking a bath, and I just sit there and I was laughing, and I go, "You motherfucker. I bet you were up there laughing at my ass the whole motherfucking time, weren't you? Bro, I swear to God, you was up there like this crazy psycho bitch. What the hell does she think she's really gonna be doing some shit like this? All right, now, you had your little fun now. Let's dust it off and let's go on. Okay, no more drink. So I'm angry enough with people every day without that. So
Yeah. So it sounds like you may have disassociated a little bit while it was happening.
yeah,
Just
very
a
much
little-
so.
just a little
Because
bit.
yeah, the next day I was like, what did I do? Like, did I fall going upstairs? Because we have, these, like, I live in an old school, like 1930s building, and there's 6 apartments. It's little, and then it has outside, stairs, and those are slick. And it had been raining. I thought I'd fall, and she said, "No." She goes, "No, bitch, you threw yourself. I mean, threw yourself on that concrete.
Whoa.
Like you thought it was you was hoping it was going to kill you when you threw yourself on that concrete."
Damn.
Yeah.
Stage dive without a crowd. That's rough.
That's what it was. And I always try to make something light of it. I was like, well, I guess I didn't learn my lesson. Little kid when I was riding bikes. Concrete always wins.
But it sounds like you did actually get the lesson on this one.
Yeah. Learning your limits.
Yeah.
That's a real big lesson to learn.
There's a country song out that it's I don't listen to that music a lot, but it's great because it says, "I've been sober since you've been gone, because the drunk me can't get over it, and the drunk me, I just can't." So I know sober me's better.
I mean, sober anybody, you're able to see things more clearly, more rationally.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just letting your emotions rule. Because I mean, yeah. Okay, so I had something to drink last night, and I went and I lost myself in writing music, which was great for me. But that worked for me, not an all the time thing. But I've also seen where sometimes if I'm in my emotions and I start drinking, I don't get out of my emotions and bad shit happens.
And I don't know
I got
how
a pretty hard rule about not drinking while I'm emotional.
Yeah.
See, and I'm always emotional. And yeah, I mean, that's who I am. I'm a very emotional person. And so I know I can't drink at all, because even like just a little bit, I'm like, whatever. Anything will set me off. So.
Yeah. I don't get as emotional anymore. I am a very emotion-based person, but yeah, I've been hurt a few times, and I've learned how to compartmentalize my emotions to an extent. And boy, can that be a disaster. That's why I have a therapist.
I don't show my emotions. I internalize things. And the problem that it creates is people can sometimes think I'm apathetic, which, if you know me, I am definitely not an apathetic person. And it's like, just because I'm not showing you with body language or action, or even saying things that you would expect to hear, doesn't mean I'm apathetic. It's often I don't quite know how to process something emotionally. So it's like, I guess it came to shutting down almost. Like, I mean, I'm still in the moment, and I'm not running away, but I'm not communicating the things that would be expected of me to be communicated in those emotional moments to others. it makes me stuff.
That's how Ro was. And I remember my life partner, and I remember being like, you've got to communicate. That's always my biggest rule with anything. You have to communicate. And we worked through that where he would shut down doing that. I hated that. That's the worst thing for somebody to do to me is shut down. Yeah, because then I'm like, in my head.
You look like one of those guys that'd be like, I'm all right. No, you're not. I'm all right. You know?
No, you're not. I'd be like, don't lie.
So that actually kind of brought me. There was a video clip I saw that "aged like milk" is the caption for it. It showed I can't remember which judge. Like I can't remember which show it was, but it's like, you know, one of those court shows like Judge Judy kind of thing, but it wasn't Judy, and it was about a divorce. And the guy that's the stand, he looks at the bailiff and goes, "Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, man. You angry?" And the bailiff kind of looks at me, big old dude. His arms crossed, he kind of like, "What, me? Angry?" He's like, "How long you been married?" You know, the judge, he's about 20-ish years or so. He's like, "Look at him, he's the happiest guy." He's like, "Yeah, I ain't angry." He's like, "No, you angry. I see it. You angry. You just don't want to admit it, but you angry." And then it cuts to a clip about him being arrested for murdering his wife. It's like, yeah, it's that whole thing of... You know, it takes one to know one, and it's like that other guy saw the anger.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if only he had done something about it before he snapped, because his snap was that's the worst snap you can have. Taking another's life. I don't care how angry you are. That is a bad snap. I mean, okay, now if they killed someone that you love and you did it in retaliation, I could see that. That's just seeing red and just losing your shit. But come on, you could have divorced.
That's what I always think when I see those shows. I'm like, why didn't you just get a divorce? I mean, really, that is a lot simpler than killing somebody. Because, I mean, like in my second marriage that we got the divorce. I mean, I told y'all, I think, in the last episode, I took a gun with me to meet her, you know, but she's not worth it, you know, but just know I can, because I am that crazy, you know. That's where I was at that time. And people need to that's not worth it, though.
No. People,
knowing that you can and doing is completely different, you know. Yeah, you could, but that's not worth it. That's not going to solve your problems. That person, they're going to be dead. And then your kids, if you have that's even worse.
Yeah, it's compounding your problems and compounding the problems of the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because you're really committing death by suicide to yourself, even though you're still alive. You know what I mean? You're killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have no life.
There's more people are impacted than just you and the person that you've done that to.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
It's like your kids. You're the child of a murderer, or you raised a murderer, or I mean, you were best friends with a murderer. You were engaged to a murderer.
Not there. But it's beyond that. It's you do that, and you got to deal with the consequences of committing a crime like that. It's, you know, it's sending mom a Mother's Day card, you know, in jail or in prison. You know, it's the missed birthdays, missed holidays.
Yeah, you gotta sit and have all those ramen noodle burritos and burgers and fried Cheeto burgers and stuff.
And you could also, I mean, there's also that possibility that your kid just disowns you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, I don't want any part of that anymore. And yeah, I mean, it's. I'm glad you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Sure would make this podcast more difficult. I'm just saying. But no, seriously, you know, all kidding aside, you know, I'm glad that you had that moment of clarity to realize that it just wasn't worth it. That's huge.
I mean, yeah. And what people need to realize is that I know for myself, it's a moment. I'm still not at the even, people say take it day by day. I can't even take it day by day or even moment by moment. It's still second by second. But I know at the end of the day that it is worse. More to be here than not, even if it sucks right now.
Yeah. I think that right there is a measure of what maturity truly is knowing that it's better to be stuck in a moment that sucks than not to be around at all.
Yeah. You don't know what the next moment's going to be like. With everything that you've been through, what are some of the things that you've done that have helped you through those moments? Because I know a lot of times when you're going through the emotional turmoil that comes with the hardships that life can cruelly deal you, right? It's easy to get lost in those moments, but you're not still in those moments, which means you've done something, or you thought something, or you've taken some action, or somebody has helped you, or you sought out help along the way. How have you gotten yourself to a point where you can, at least in small instances, break that cycle of pain that you feel?
So I think it's my kids.
Yep.
They always.
Oh, they're your world. Absolutely.
I can't. I could say all kinds of people. No, I couldn't even say all kinds of people. I could say like 3 or 4 online. That's it, But my kids, and it's my boys, because I raised my boys, and they are the version of me that I wanted to be when I was their age, and they are doing those things, and so that if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be any reason. They're just, for me, they're my life.
Yeah, no, I get
very
that.
Much so.
I actually wrote a song once. Oh, go for it.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, with each step that you watch of their growth, there's like a celebratory moment in that, to see them, each new little peak that they hit in life, everything from the accolades that they win in sports, or, your younger son who just finding himself and being strong enough, being strong enough to live his truth and not worry about what everything's going on around him. Seeing that kind of strength in your kids has got to be amazing. And
it is.
I can only imagine where they learned that.
Yeah, let's really imagine this. Oh, right there. I see it clearly. No, what I was going to say is that I can relate to where T is coming from, in that when I was at my rock bottom myself, and I was in that tub of hot water, and I was committed to taking my life. It was my little girl's voice, and what it did to me. Hindsight's amazing, by the way, because you can really learn a lot from your past if you really examine it. What it was for me, more than anything, was that I realized just how much I still need my parents to this day. Even now, years later, beyond even that, I'm in my mid-40s. I still need my parents all the time. My kids are going to need me, and I need to be there for them, and I can't be there for them if I'm dead. And that's kind of what I alluded to in the song that I wrote. That was the only time I've ever actually rapped on a song that I wrote, and yeah, it ended with me talking about at the time, my boy and my girl. Now I have 2 boys, 3 girls.
Yeah.
And 3 granddaughters, which I got to visit one of them today, which was really nice.
Oh, that's awesome. I unfortunately don't get to see mine as much as I would like, which I always knew it was going to happen. I just kind of waited for the day for the shoe to drop. But, everyone in a while I'll get to see that one, and she's so big. She's like over 3 foot. She's 3'2". She's not even 3 yet.
Wow.
She'll be 3 in
Yeah,
February.
like
She
two.
was lifting
Yeah, two of my.
cases.
I'll go for it.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Go
just
ahead.
saying, two of my granddaughters. I've only seen one of them once, and I haven't seen the other one yet because they live so far away.
Oh yeah, that sucks. That's the thing that for me it's like with Cody. I don't know where my youngest one's gonna go. He's the traveler. I know where Kane's gonna be. He said he ain't never leaving Oregon. So I'm like, well, at least I know where I got to see you. But Cody, I mean, where you're gonna live somewhere. He's probably gonna live in a whole different country. You know, he's like, I think I want to move to another country. I don't want to live here anymore. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, explore.
Yep.
So he's got the itchy feet.
Yep. And he graduates this year, like I said, and then he's got his machinist at 17. He's waiting on his last test to go through. The whole, I guess, committee or whatever his professor's got to reach out to, and then he'll get a certification in machine operator and do metal work, all that stuff. He knows he can do all of that already.
There will always be a demand for that too. Always.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow, he found his place. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Machinist work is pretty interesting. You talk about attention to detail. You're talking, thousandths of an inch. Like you're 1,000th of an inch off. You haven't done your job right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is attention to detail to the insane degree. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's able to do that. I that kind of pressure would drive me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Kind of like, with my wife. I am so thankful that we have nurses that can work in the OR because I sure as hell couldn't. I'm not squeamish by any means, but opening up a body cavity and there's nothing, if something's not right and it smells really bad, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah.
Blood doesn't bother me. The smells will bother me.
Yep. Yeah.
Or finding a cyst, because that's just no.
Yeah.
So good. One of my exes used to love watching Dr. Pimple Popper. Like, I'd look at her phone to see what she's looking at. I'd be like,
nope.
Oh, God, no.
We used to. No, I don't like that show.
Now, okay.
Go ahead.
No, finish.
We used to watch, so he was military and loved watching stuff being blown up, gut, all that stuff, like stuff. I'm like, oh, God. But we used to watch Dr. G, and we watched all their episodes. She had episode about a guy where his mouth perforated too, and it was bad. She had all kinds of episodes, people dying all kinds of ways, trying to figure it out, and he'd be watching. I'm like, covering my face every time because I'm like, I can't watch this stuff. This is crazy.
Now, one thing that was funny, I'm totally throwing my wife under the bus on this one. They were working on somebody, doing a GI thing. They had the body cavity open. And as they were getting ready to close up, she let a silent but deadly fart go. And one of the techs started looking for the perforated bowel. They thought that they nicked the bowel. So they started looking for the body cavity.
Oh, no.
She's trying not to laugh. She doesn't want to admit it was her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, stuff that you don't think about. Yeah, that stuff happens. That kind of stuff happens in the OR. I'm like, okay, that's funny.
That is.
Yeah, no. Also, my son, he for a time he did body collection for a mortuary, and then he's worked at a crematorium. Again, 2 more jobs I could never do.
I used to do mortuary transport, so we would go. Everything I would go to like hospice or people who are doing in-home hospice mainly, and have to go do a removal on someone's loved one. You show up to someone's house and you got 25 really, really sad people that with 25 scrutinizing eyes on you. That is I've done some stressful stuff in my life. I would rather break up gang fights than do that again. That is rough.
Oh no, and
that's rough work.
Did you ever drop a body?
Nope, never dropped a body.
Yeah, because that's even worse.
I've had to do removals where bodies are in decomp. Yeah, in transport, you can hear it slushing around in the bag in the back. Yeah,
there was one that
there's not enough showers.
No.
Not enough showers to get the smell off of you.
That's why my son would take 2 to 3 hour long baths. Because he did say there was one that he talks about. He said he calls the face-off guy, and that's as much as he's going to give, and that's all I need to know. I don't need to know anything else. But yeah, it was a decomp.
Yeah. The guy I was working for had a crime scene cleanup company. Aside from his mortuary business. And he's like, you're super reliable and you're a big guy. He's like, I need strong guys who can do this. He's like, I'll pay you 4 times what you're paying out to go and do that. He's like, it's just, cutting out drywall, cutting up carpet. He's like, you're not doing a removal, you're cleaning up after. I was like, nope. No, I have none of that. No, thank you, sir.
No. Yeah, no, my son, actually, the only time the word wet has disturbed me was because of my son. When he was working at the crematorium.
Yeah.
And I can't do justice with what he did, or how he said it.
Yeah, I'm sure we could trade some horror stories.
Yeah. I'm sure y'all could.
I'm so glad I am where I am now. Like, I'll stay. I'm happy behind the desk.
Now
I'll tell you, I would rather go back to taking calls for Apple than do that job.
Now that's saying something.
That's saying something. That's saying a lot.
Now, if Brandy were on right now, and hopefully she's listening, I don't know if she's listening or not, I would rather work another day at Quest than to deal with that kind of stuff. And if you knew me when I worked at Quest, I'll just put it this way. Every single day when I got to work for a year and a half, I dry heaved in the parking lot due to the stress. I was never that stressed at Apple.
I was that at the end. The boss that I had was a micromanager. I do not do very well with that.
No.
As you know,
some people, sure.
And I'm good, and my stats are always the same. I do my job like I'm supposed to. I don't need you micromanaging everything. And then now you make me take this tier 2 position that I didn't want to take. Say I have to take it. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
And now it's even more stressful and people are cussing me out. And you're like, well, you could have said it. You could have. When somebody is on the other line of the opposite sex and degrading me because of who I am. And I'm like, and dude, and I work for, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, and even women, and it's like, gosh, look, do you want help or not? Like,
and I know you saw it
every day.
I know you saw my face when you said that.
Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than having someone's technical aptitude questioned because of things like your sex, your accent. Nothing pisses me off more.
Yep. Yeah. I'm like, really? I could have handled that call different. I hung up on him.
I could have, but didn't, and I wouldn't in the future. Like I've told customers on the phone, like, telling somebody like, this is how you fix it. This is what we need to do, because I'd always walk people through the plan before walking through it. They're like, oh, I don't think that is. That's how it is. Okay, well, how do you think it needs to be fixed? You're not sure. It's because you called somebody who knows how to do it and does it for a living. So you tell me I told you so if I'm wrong. How about we go ahead and try that?
Yeah.
If they want to argue, be like, you look like you need to think about it. That's okay. Why don't you give us a call back when you're ready to go ahead and move forward? Oh, you want to try it? All right, let's move on.
Yeah,
zero. Like, so little fucks customers owed me fucks.
Yeah. Now, I did something very similar when I was doing the prop stuff, which was, look, you know how to use this software better than I do. I know how to fix it better than you do. So I'm not questioning your knowledge of the software being used. Please don't question my knowledge on how to fix it, because I'm going to get you there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, and again, when you're dealing with professionals, they get that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the analogy that I'd use on customers, because I'd run into the same thing. Like, how do I know more about this than you do? Like, well, you know more about how to use the features and use it effectively. But the jet fighter pilot doesn't argue with their mechanic on how to fix things. There's a reason for that. That mechanic can't go do barrel rolls. That pilot doesn't know how to tune up that jet to make sure it can do barrel rolls.
I used to use the race car analogy. You're the driver. You're out on the track. I'm the one that's keeping your car from falling apart.
Do you remember? Okay, based off of your analogy, you remember that Casey used to use that analogy about the pilot. I fixed it. I can't teach you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, it's based off of that analogy. Got reamed. We could not use that type of analogy. You couldn't be used anymore.
Yeah, we got yelled at for that too.
Like, yep.
Because it's like, look, I'm the mechanic. I'm not the driver. I can't teach you how to drive. I know how to drive a vehicle, but I can't drive this vehicle.
Yeah, we couldn't tell them that either anymore. Couldn't say nothing. It's like.
Now, but the answer to that one was a pretty easy one, which was, so you want to know how to do this? Okay, let's go up to the help menu. Let's go to that little search field. Let's type it in. Now, see how if you put your mouse over here, it points to the menu and it's showing you where to go? Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, how do I do that?
Help's everywhere.
Yeah, but by the third time, they get it. You're only going to show them the help menu.
Yeah.
I was the biggest on that, too. I'll show you help.
And I will say this, to give Apple credit where credit is due, their help menus actually are effective.
Oh yeah, if you use them. Yeah,
they're useful. I can't say the same for the Windows side of things. Yeah, they're only as useful as you're willing to use them. It's like that whole thing. You can. It's like I'm there to help you, but you still have to help yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I do have to comment on it because I said it in the chat. Kat went 36 minutes. Kat right now may be the only person in the chat. I'm sure we have other people listening. We have a lot of lurkers. Who went 36 minutes from saying bye to JB to sloshing. Yuck. It took 36 That was the comment that got her to say something. That is just amazing. I had to say something about that.
That's great.
I have to admit, sloshing is yuck.
That was the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you should have heard it.
My son told me that I had my son tell me that they had one person that was delivered in a bag because that was the only way to deliver the body. It was. Body went through a jet turbine.
Oh, geez.
Oh, it's like a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
That's what I was. That was the first thing my mind went to was Ziploc.
Yeah, it's like, you didn't do a toe tag. You just tagged the bag. Because good luck finding a toe. Yeah. Ugh. Nope, can't do that.
I can't.
No, no, no. I couldn't do that job. I remember my mom when I was younger.
Well,
She said, you should be
I was
a mortician. Uh, no, no, no,
I
not
was
me.
doing that job while working at Apple. I was doing that job at night while I was working at Apple. It was my
Woo!
second job.
Yeah, no, I used to work for this hospital automation company, and it was really cool because a lot of people I talked with, there was this mutual respect. They couldn't do call center work. I couldn't work on the hospital floors. We had mutual respect for each other's jobs. So it made the job pretty easy and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
IT in the hospital setting is pretty awesome. For the most part, you're a lot of people's hero. So, you have people showing when you have something that isn't working, they need it fixed quickly. And when you can actually fix it quickly, you get to feel pretty good about pretty good about yourself.
And
Well,
also, yeah,
they help you feel good about yourself, anyways.
I mean, you're impacting healthcare at that point. You're helping those patients on those floors, by proxy
right.
through whoever it is that you're assisting to get their job done. And that's one thing about
Exactly.
hospitals that I love is that every job that's part of the hospital, it all comes down to every bit of it helps the patient. Every bit, every job.
That hospital that my life partner Ro was at was so amazing. The surgical intensive care unit nurses, I couldn't have asked for better with them. Like, they were so kind and so caring and just took such great care of him and of me, and
Yeah.
you don't see that from a lot of nurses, sometimes because they're burnt out. I mean, there's a lot on them, even in the surgical intensive care, they've only got 2 to 3 patients. That's a lot because I know with mine, he was on round care sedation because he had that ventilator. So he was on sedatives, he had antibiotics, he had the wound vac, he had all this stuff going on, all these tubes and wires and all this stuff going out. So it's like all the stuff that they do is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
what was like
with,
what?
with,
I'll go for it, Oz.
I was going to say, so with you've lived a really long 40 something years, and your
Almost
journey has been a
43.
long one. What is almost 43?
Next
What
month,
do you want the next step in your journey to be?
I want it to be finding who I really want to find me. All I've been is a mom and a friend.
That's
I want to know
it's
who
always
I
been a huge
am.
part of your identity since I met you. Yeah.
They're
And everything has been about the kids. Everything has always been about the kids.
and
Yeah.
my next step is to go through my process, my healing process, on my terms, and be able to focus on myself.
Do you have any thoughts on how you're going to do that?
Yeah. Well, I talked to you earlier, and you made me set on my calendar something that I'm going to do every month. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, after my brother passed away, my mother started going to this group, and I hated it. I freaking hated it because everybody there lost a kid. I lost my brother. There wasn't nobody there for me to talk to. There wasn't any books. There wasn't nothing. I hated going to those things. I guess they work though because it's still around. It's all over the world. It's a big, huge, freaking thing that they do. And so second Thursday of every month, I'm gonna go to a support group, and even if I just sit and listen, or like meet one person, or help one person, or one person helps me, whatever. That's my starting point.
Group therapy is a good way to go.
And it like I was telling you earlier, like it's I can't imagine you being involved with that type of thing and you not even accidentally helping somebody else because it's your nature. You know, you have a way of delivering things. Where we live in a society that has grown very, maybe this is the best way to say it, but overly considerate of how other people may think or feel about the way you deliver your message. Right? You cut through the fat, and you're like, it is what it is. This is it. You know, this is. Yeah, these are the facts. I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. Like, I'm not going to make you read between the lines to get my message. You're like, this is, you know, this is the reality of things. And it removes the opportunities for confusion or for somebody to misconstrue something that you're saying. You know.
I mean what I say.
But
I remember.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You're all about that. You know, with it, talk about it, be about it life.
Yeah. Why do you think that T and I got along so well? Why we? I got T on a consult once, and I'm like, I'm taking you under wing. Let's do this. Talk to me. Get to know me. I don't need to get to know you. Let's talk.
I remember that.
Just something about you just resonated.
This job,
like the only calls that I would do evaluations on where she would argue with the customer, like get into full-on arguments with customers, and customers would thank her at the end of the call. Yeah, it was crazy.
At this previous place that I was just employed at, I remember we reset grocery stores, whatever. So, you know, you're moving stuff in these shelves. Those people don't realize those shelves are really freaking heavy. I'm only 5'2". Okay. At the time, I weighed maybe 111 pounds. You know, I'm really small. But anyways, I take a ladder with me. I have my own ladder, and it's got a weight limit because I'm little. I didn't need to buy this expensive one, right? It's got my name all over it. One night I'm standing there, other people, it's already happened. They come up and they just snatch and try to take my ladder and use that. They're like, you didn't ask. Excuse me? I said, you didn't ask. I said, don't you know common courtesy? I can't believe you're talking to me like that. It's because of this. I said, I don't care what you are. I'm talking about common courtesy.
Yep.
So one night I was working, and this chick just comes up. I'm like working away, and I got my ladder right over here, and then I just look over, and she's just walking off with it. And I said, a little common courtesy, you could really ask. And I said, oh, by the way, I said, there's a weight limit on that. And I said, I can tell right now that you're past that because you've made an announcement before, you know, since you're going to break it. You know, you'll hurt yourself. You know, don't use my ladder. And I'm like, and she's like, look at me. I didn't know it was yours. I said, my name's all over it. My name's all over it. How do you not know it's small? You know, I said, common courtesy. I mean, I guess that's what I was taught growing up in school and at home. Oh, now you talk about my mama? I said, did I say anything about your mama? No? Okay. Yeah. And then I remember hearing my boss, Terry. I was like, oh, I just finished that set. I'm already done. I was just getting ready to come find you. And then everybody that I work with is standing right there like, I can't believe that little big thing just said that to that girl like that. Like, oh, I don't care.
No, you're real. That's so.
Yeah.
All right, so you say that you're a mom and that you help people, but you're real. That's what I see. You're real, and you have a way of connecting with people. That's an amazing thing. And not only can you help others, you receive advice and help well too. So that's a little extra thing that you could put in, a little feather you can add to your cap. Just wanted you to let you know how I see you.
Oh, thank you, Ian. I appreciate that.
Os, what about you? Let's go ahead. Let's help build up to you a little bit here. Because I know you see stuff too.
I've been building it. Oh yeah, I've been building it too for years.
Yeah.
Oh man, I knew he was my brother. He's my brother. I told him he took that place. He's my brother.
I was gonna say we could fight over whose brother he is, but he could be both of our brothers.
We've been There's been a few times where we've talked till the sun comes up. I told her back in the day that it doesn't matter what time it is. Like a lot of people say 24/7. Like you need somebody to call me, and on the rare occasions that call comes in at 1 a.m. or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, I have to pick up this call. Either it's going to be hilarious because she's wasted, or something bad happened, and But I think outside of looking in, I think he has made it through so much because of how real she is. She owns the situations that she's in. You won't ever hear T say it's not fair. That's not. I haven't really, I don't deserve this. It's not fair. Woe is me type stuff. She'll be like, this is fucked up. This is super fucked up. And then she'll find a way to deal with it. She doesn't fluff up anything when she's giving out and when she's talking about things. She doesn't try to paint herself in a good light, which is, sometimes we need to do that for our own ego when we're down. And she doesn't do that, but not in a way where she's tearing herself down. She's just being real about it. And because she forces herself to look into the pain sometimes and see the reality of things, she's able to clearly deal with it. So it's kind of, I think it's akin to you go to the doctor because your wrist hurts and they give you some Vicodin for it, but it doesn't fix it. It's because they've treated a symptom. They didn't x-ray. They didn't know your bone was broken. They didn't know what was really wrong with it. And he really looks at what's going on and looks for the cause of what it is and deals with it because, you're so direct. You're not just direct with others. You're direct with yourself. And that's a huge strength. Not a lot of people are strong enough to be that kind of forthcoming with themselves because we tend to be fragile individuals. I'm not always that way. I'll fully admit it. I get super sensitive sometimes. My feet will get hurt in a heartbeat. But it's he agrees with him too.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bud.
But it's you talk about the pain, you talk about the cause of the pain, you don't over exaggerate, you don't blow it up. It is what it is. And when you have that kind of clarity about your own mental health and being able to talk about things as factually as you do, I think it gives you a freedom to maneuver around your mental health in ways that a lot of people deny themselves by trying to cushion the stories, trying to push off blame. That's not something you own your shit. You don't blame anybody for anything, any place where you drop the ball, you'll be the first one to be like, yep, I did that. I shouldn't have did it. I knew I shouldn't have did it, but I did it anyways. And I'm gonna have to deal with it, but that ownership is admirable, especially when ownership in most things these days feels like to be fleeting with a lot of people. Can't give people the ownership. That's the biggest thing we're fighting with Sarah's kid right now is teaching him ownership. Own things you do. Not everybody, but most people when they do something good, they're like, "Ooh, come give me a pat on the back. Look, I did something great. Celebrate me." But when they did something wrong, they're like, "Oh, the sun was in my eyes. Oh, I was having an allergic reaction. Oh, I forgot I had to walk my fish," or whatever excuse they're going to give, right?
Walk my fish.
When we're direct,
That makes me think of Paul Melvin.
You know, but it allows you to deal with what's in front of you, and you don't where you're an emotional person and you feel deeply. I think I don't know how else to put it. Like you're feeling the right things about the right things. You know what I mean? Like you're not spreading yourself thin on woe is me, and you're not bullshitting yourself. You're able to deal with the things that keep coming your way because of your directness. I'm willing to bet you have to spend less energy getting to the root cause of your pain than a lot of us do by lying to ourselves on a daily basis. You know, it's really kind of like a superpower you have.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, where a lot of people can have a lot of integrity. That was amazing. I was going to say, like, a lot of people have integrity.
Oh, man, screw you.
Well, I was going to say, the one thing that what you were just speaking of, it's like, that's integrity. And that's not just, like, some integrity. Like, a lot of people can have varying amounts of integrity. T's out there with the super oil tanker filled with integrity going, I got this shit. I got this shit in spades.
Right? Yeah.
No, don't let the little smile fool you, man. What's one my friend Emily, she's like, gosh, you're such a brat. And I was like, at least I'm cute, though. Because I read a message that I sent to one of my new bosses the other day, and I was like, so I read it to my sissy, and I was like, listen, I thought this was like sweet as, it was like nice, you know, what I said, you know, I thought it was just direct, you know, but it's nice and professional. I said I had erased 5 different things, you know. I was like, oh my God, that's pretty mean. Oh God. And I read it to her and she goes, oh, that wasn't nice at all. And I said, what? I said, that wasn't nice, really? She said, who are you fooling? I was like, oh, I said, that's probably why you didn't talk to me the rest of the day.
So, I will say that T, you are kind even when you're not nice. Because you're saying what needs to be said. You're making sure what needs to be heard is being heard. And sometimes you being nice, you can't do that. But it's still a kindness.
Yeah. Nice isn't always helpful.
Like I just called
nice
it as it is. I'm like, train better and I'll do better. Sorry.
Man, I know a few jobs where I can say that. My lack of performance is due to your lack of training.
I recently, with one of my employees, I told him that. I was like, if you need help somewhere, if you need training somewhere, tell me. I'll put it in our one-on-one notes. You know, you can hold me accountable to it. So that way, when I come back there and say, why aren't you doing this? You can go back to the notes and say, why didn't you train me? You know?
Yeah. This old 20-something-year-old's like, whatever, dude. Whatever. I'm like,
no, I don't
Ready?
think I have any kids. It's crazy. I'm old enough to think I'm doing something when I was a kid. But I don't think I have any kids working for me. No, everybody's got to be over 20.
Now, if you want to talk about that whole training thing, here is a great example that all three of us can relate to having worked at the same company. QuickTime Pro. That's expected to be supported, but where's the training?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it's like it's what was great was like, yeah, I was in professional applications and they said because it had the word pro, I was like, no, sorry, that is not in my scope. That is not my bananas. That is not my job.
Not my monkeys, not my takers.
Getting a day and a half in training on applications that people will take, 12-week, multi-part 12-week courses. You'll take four 12-week courses to get certified in. Here's your day and a half, right?
Right. Yeah, like Logic, like Final Cut.
There's first feeling. Talking to somebody who clearly knew more about the product than you did. you know.
Yeah.
And I
I'd be
get
like,
super happy if someone's like, well, I think it's this. And I'd be like, yeah, let's explore that.
Yeah.
I hope they're right.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's exactly how I did it too. It's like, let's hope that you stumble upon something that I can see and go, that's broken.
I remember when I was still there that even from when both of y'all had worked there, there was still the same guy calling for the pro apps department over the same type of stuff. He'd call every day. And it, you know, only like 2 people would talk to him, and that was it, because everybody else, he was just
there were some people that got that white glove. No, I will say that when I was in the department that did support QuickTime Pro, and when I learned I had to support it, man, did I dig deep into that thing. So like, this is my job. I need to do this.
Yeah.
You were probably one of 3 people there who knew how to support it properly.
It really wasn't hard to support, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I was so glad that I actually got you on that consult and was able to offer you, hey,
I know that
here's.
was awesome.
I was like, hey, so let me find you. Let me go ahead and chat you up. And then after that, I got to get to know you, got to see your development, got to see your struggles, and like Oz was saying, you just be real. That's just who you are. It is.
That's how I got into the department at Apple, anyways, because I started out contract college. I'd signed an agreement. I was going to be there in the college department. I was going to work part-time for a year. You know, during the summer, I worked my 40 hours a week. During the fall and during school, I was only supposed to work 20. And I was like, there's just no way, because I was trying to support me and the kids and the other person that wasn't working, you know. And I remember telling my boss, and I said, listen, I said, either you get me full time or I'm quitting Apple, because I'm working 2 jobs right now, and I can't continue doing this, and you know, and only getting 20 hours a week, and there's never any overtime. And she went to her boss above her, and her boss above that person, and they got me in less than 30 days. They got me over there in creative media, because I was like, and she goes, she's good, she's got to go. So I didn't even finish my contract. I was like, heck yeah. She goes, you're the only second person that's done that, by the way. I said, well, y'all's either going to fire me or hire me. I mean, what was it going to be? You know, I mean, one or the other. I said, it's the department I wanted to be in anyways. And then they turned foo-foo, especially after Oz went on campus and left us.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, that was a mistake. When I went on campus, I had such a deep connection with the entire team, and working from home full time was like, it was starting to really get to me, because I never left the house for anything. And it was, and I had some other stuff going on where I needed to be out of the house more. And going on campus, I was like, what the fuck did I do? Like, can I get my own team back? Because the team I got on campus was like a lot of them were new hires. I'm like, you're too new to be dated. Like, what is this bullshit? You haven't earned this yet.
Yeah. And then we got an okay team, you know, and then he was like, I remember I went out on leave because I'd had my second surgery on my elbow again. Yeah. And I remember coming back, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to be your boss anymore. I'm changing because there's a new AEM that's coming in that never came in. And he's like, I've got a better job offer in this other part. So he took that, and then we ended up with the person that has never taken one of our phone calls before. You had worked with him before, Mike. And yep. And he came from campus and came home, and he broke me. Yep, he is just not the type.
Yeah.
I don't know why that company has him, but he is just like the worst person. He railroaded a lot of people on our team.
Yeah, he talked to people like he sounded like a football coach in a group setting, and then
he could say everything in an email.
But one-on-one, there was like zero. How do you have somebody try to teach you empathy on a call who has no empathy for your life?
Right. And that's like,
I got problems with hypocrites.
Yeah, he did nothing.
At least fake it with me, bro. Like, fake it with me.
He didn't like me. He didn't like me, and I didn't like him. And I let him know I didn't like him. And I said, I don't care because I can go over your head. It's not going to worry me. I don't like you. You know, he was not a good person.
And I still remember that. Not just you, but there was quite a few people that I talked to a lot. I wound up being the peer / therapist at times too. It's like you would come to me and be like, "Look, this person's pissing me off." I'm like, "All right, vent away."
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. The job was so stressful. I felt like I was more therapist than manager. Like, because of the relationship with how I was talking about. Yeah, and I was like that for a lot of people on the team. And I found that like all y'all are good at your job. You don't really need coaching on your job. Like little reminders here and there, but you knew how to do it. You just needed help relieving the stress so you could do the job. One of my biggest roles as a manager there was I was a shit filter because shit poured down from on high. And I'm like, it cannot touch my team. And they wouldn't hear about this shit from me, but then they would come to me and be like, I heard this from other teams. Is this what's really happened? Oh, don't worry about that. It's okay. You know, because I'm like, that's my pay grade to worry about. Like, you don't need to worry about bullshit that somebody dreamed.
If you're on the phones, you just need to worry about call by call by call. That's your job.
Listen, he saved my ass one time. So I remember working one time, okay? And that's when we had gotten we had two monitors or whatever. And I remember a person coming in and getting mad, and man, something happened to my computer. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I remember calling off. He's like, chill, it's okay, calm down. We'll figure it out. You remember that? Boy, I was so scared.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, I'm in with you, so I can lie for you.
Yep.
I was always like, listen, dude came in and was just like this, and then there is a broke. I can't use it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that was in the middle of my shift too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think that people that have never worked a call center understand exactly how stressful a call center job truly is.
That's what I tell like everybody I talk to over the phone who sound like they're stressed out. I'm like, it's okay, take your time. It's like I manage a contact center. I know you get yelled at on a daily basis. The reason I'm upset has nothing to do with you. You're just trying to help me, and I appreciate that. And people immediately like, thank you.
Yeah.
Every time I call a contact center, same thing. I'm like, look, I've done customer service and tech support my whole career. I'm not mad at you. You're doing your job. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And and when you call in and you're like that, you get a lot more honey.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yep.
I mean, at that point, that person knows you understand my struggle. Thank you.
Yep.
I
just experienced that. I just experienced that recently. Like the area that I live in is super fire prone, and it's close to the end of the year, so they dump. I was told by my neighbors, a lot of insurance companies around here will dump homeowners for the homeowner insurance. They won't let them renew. So I called up a lady at mortgage company to talk about it, and I was like, I'm trying to find it, and I went through that whole thing, and she's trying to explain some things that happened. I was billed wrong on some things, so I owe some money, and it's before Christmas, and we're about to go on vacation. Like that, I don't have money for nothing, and telling her all that, and that I'm hunting for another insurance company because I can lose my house if I don't find insurance and everything. And she talked to me for like over an hour, and anybody working in contact center knows that's a no-no. And I was like, since you know the situation and you've been so amazing, like, can I work with you? She's like, we usually don't do that. She's like, but I'll tell you what. She's like, if you call into our main number and you let them know you want to talk to Jennifer because I know about the situation or whatever, they will get me a message and I will call you back. And she's like, actually, how about I just follow up with you? And I was just like,
that's how it's done.
You're respectful of people.
Yeah.
Right? It's you treat people right, they treat you right. Like, put good out there.
Everywhere I worked, I gave an A effort with every customer I talked to. Now, whether that was an A plus, or A minus was heavily dependent on your behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah, I gave an A until I didn't give enough. Like, give me a reason,
right? I saw this thing the other day, and this chick was talking about what she wanted to be known for in life. What I want to know, E and I got questions for y'all. What do y'all want to be known for? Like, when it's all said and done, what do you want to be known for? Above anything else.
Above anything else, helping people make positive changes in their life. Bar none, nothing more than that. Making a difference. I want to make sure that my presence on this planet is worth a shit. I didn't just waste oxygen and time and burn money. Like, if I help, like, and I have talked about similar subjects, like where do we see, what's the point of, and where do we see mental going? And it's, if we help one person through 12 seasons so far, if only, and he's gotten positive confirmation that he has helped people, before I came on, helping just one person for all the time and the effort and the sacrifice it takes to be here, not missing a show if you can. I have the luxury of being a co-host. Like, I am going on vacation. I'm not going to be here from the 9th to the 12th. I will be in SoCal. But he doesn't have that luxury. He's got to be here.
I got to be here.
Yeah.
And so seeing the time, the energy, and really, it's not just that, it's the sacrifices that it takes to make this work, the emotional stress. I'll let you speak to his emotional stress around this recently, right? But if you want to, not to call you out.
No,
but
call me out. That's fair.
But it's for the love that we put into this, and to the people that we talk to, like yourself and other amazing guests that we've had, helping people. And we may not have and I don't know how many actual guests we will have. We'll have the luxury of being able to help. I think because these are all the podcasts are recorded, and through the people that we reach literally around the world, like multiple continents. It's crazy what the reach of this show is. It's just one of those people. We never see them in chat, and we never talk to them. We never get an email.
Yeah.
If their help, that's fine. But I want to be known for somebody who made positive change in others' lives, like somebody who actually gives you,
Yeah, no, I get that.
What about you?
Yeah, so there was a project I had to do when I was going to the anxiety treatment center where we had to write our own obituaries. And I can say from personal experience, it is one of the greatest things a person could do is to sit down and write their own obituary. As dark as that may seem, it gives you a lot of insight into yourself because you're talking about how you want to be remembered, exactly like you asked. And yeah, I'm kind of with Oz there. I just want to be remembered as someone who gave a shit. Someone who left this planet a little bit better than I found it. Obviously, I want to be known as a great dad and an amazing grandfather. I would love for that. But yeah, at the same time, so I want to be someone that helps. Oh, online, I can be as combative as the day is long. But ultimately, I do it because it's a sport in that regard. You're willing to do it with me, I'm willing to do it back.
Yeah.
You keep getting put in a penalty box.
Yeah, I keep getting put in the penalty box. But I will say, and I've done it before plenty of times, the moment I see someone struggling that I'm going against, I stop everything. I'm like, dude, you okay? Like, what we're arguing about is superficial bullshit. It's just fun. Are you okay? Because I care. I do care. And Oz really kind of hit me there by calling me out a little bit. What was that message I sent to the group the other night? It was about a week ago.
Oh, I mean, the frustrations that come with the show, because we have a lot of guests who cancel last minute, or shows that we'll talk to people and we'll be chatting them or emailing them or whatever, and they'll show a lot of interest. And then at the last minute, where you're like, okay, we've got a solid person who's going to come on the show, they'll say no, I don't want to go on the show, and we'll have weeks that we can't book anybody.
Yeah.
Or we have somebody who we know is super interesting, who has a lot to share, and then life happens and they don't make it. And it's not because they're not reliable.
No.
It's because they have lives, and we're empathetic to that. But it gets in those times are easier to handle. If somebody has to back out, then it is just not finding somebody to come on the show. And it, at times, it makes you want to just like rage quit. Like, why are we doing this? Nobody wants to come on. Like, why are we doing this? And I think we all get to that place. He's not just going to rage quit the show. It's not going to happen.
No.
You know, he has too much blood, sweat, and tears in this. You know, but we all get to that level. You know.
Yeah. No. I actually messaged our group because like we all are on a group chat. You know, it only makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I am just about done with everything. I'm about to delete all my socials, delete the podcast, delete everything, make it just like it never happened. I was getting burnt. I have broke down and cried on the air over the stress of this because it's not. I do sacrifice a lot for this podcast. I do. Mm-hmm. I could be spending time with my kids right now, for example. I could be over at my son's house hanging out with my granddaughter right now. But I'm here trying to help others. Right. And it hurts. And and there are times, cause I put a lot into this. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I don't do this because it's like, yes, of course I want this to succeed. Of course I do. But there's more to it than that. Like I was telling Oz about a mutual friend of ours. He is going through some shit right now.
Yeah.
And I want him on the podcast, not because it's a great story and would be a great episode, because it would be. I would be lying if I didn't think about that at all. But I want him to immortalize himself. He may not be here much longer. Yeah. I want him to put in words an audio recording for his child, his family, his friends, his own sense of well-being and the closure, whatever it is. There's something to help him as well, to be able to leave that mark, that indelible mark that is him, forever out there who could help a total stranger. And he has done a ton for me. Like, I can't even put into words how much he has helped my life. A lot of people. Yeah.
A lot. Like, I saw him on a daily basis impacting people. Like, he is an amazing human being.
And you could see that he got tore up when people were struggling. It tore him up to see people struggle.
I don't like to see anybody hurt. When you're an empath, you know, that's part of being an empath. You don't, because you know what that's like.
Tim, he's the same way. He's an empath. He was like, I was a guy that at work that everybody came to. That everybody came to when they needed somebody to talk to, and he was my guy at work that I would go to, or he would show up at my desk and be like, "You look like you need to go vape. Let's go smoke." I'd be like, "Okay," or I'm in the middle of something. Like, "No, you need to take a break. We need to go for a walk." And I'd be like, "Okay." You know.
I'm going to tell you right now, if he makes it on here, I am going to be bawling my eyes out most of the episode.
Both of us are going to be like when I heard about what he's going through, I was reading on it. I was like, I'm fucking watering up now.
If you don't, I've been wiping away tears.
Yeah.
He is an amazing person. So I would love for him to be able to share his story, his outlook on life. You know,
it's helped shape mine.
I'm sure his story. Yeah, I'm sure he could. He will make a difference. You know, he will. But he doesn't need us to do that. He's the kind of guy he does it on his own every day. Like, it's just in his DNA.
And his episode, I guarantee, will save a life. At least one.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Okay. It's just who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And see, and that's right there. That's how I'm helping to contribute. I'm also trying to find other people that can help save lives. That's ultimately what I want. I want to save lives.
That's what it's all about. You know, all of us have our own struggles. All of us have our own stories. You know, coming on here last year and then coming on here now. That's it. It helps me, you know, because I talk a big game, you know, and I'll confront you and stuff like that, but to sit alone and get on somewhere and like sit down and write my feelings and face myself and I know that, you know, doing stuff like that is helpful but it's scary for me, but doing stuff like this and y'all having me on, you know, it gives me a little bit more courage. Yeah, and
got a journal.
You know, it's like, you know,
90s style. 90s style.
When I know when I journal and I do those things, I do better. Sit back and I look and I notice, you know, changes, and I can see where I'm going, and that's a good thing to do when you can. But I think my journaling will end up turning into quite a few different little series books that I got.
Nice.
That eventually, yeah.
I mean,
journaling for me is an amazing tool because when I journal, I specifically write in a way where I am trying to describe what I'm going through to somebody else, as though I'm writing a letter, and it forces me to think about my feelings in language I don't. If I write in language that I don't think in, and because I'm using a vocabulary that I don't think in being as descriptive as I am, it helps me better understand why I feel. Like, I'll write something and go, oh, have an epiphany. Like, I didn't realize that could be contributing to why I feel this way. You know, I knew it in the back of my head. I didn't do the math, the emotional math to be able to figure it out. So I've been trying to do it more and more. Like, there's a dog park not far from here, and even if I don't bring my dog, I'll go sit outside and watch other people's dogs, and then piss my dog off when I come home and smell like somebody else's dog. So,
man, Rambo gets real mad.
Speaking of
Smell
which,
like another cat or dog.
speaking of your dog, how's your dog? The teeth, your dog.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. She has an appointment not this week but next week.
Okay.
Yeah. She has an appointment coming up.
Yeah, if you really want to know how much I care about Oz, I care so much about his dog. Yeah.
That would be my youngest son. Boy, he cares more about. He loves animals and
But I mean,
bugs and whatever. He sends me videos. He's like, "Mom, look at this bug out there today."
okay, so I need to get in touch with your kid if he's into bugs. That's spiders are my favorite animal on earth.
he loves everything. He thinks he's like, "Mom, like if there's like a little spider or wherever, he's gonna get to this." I know you've got your you like your spiders.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna go into detail about what's in my office right now because it freaks Kat out every time.
I know, but I know what's in there.
No,
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I want of MI Mental, I want my MI Mental to be a part of my legacy. Not my legacy entirely, but a part of my legacy. I want for my kids to be able to look at my podcast, this podcast that I did. I call it my podcast. I created it, but it's become more than just me, obviously. You know, there's a number, it was actually funny. I had a reflection moment about it. It started out with me and KZ. That was it. Just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's me. It's Oz. Bexy's still a part of this. She's more behind the scenes now, but she's still a part of this. We got Jay. We have Sarah. We have more people coming into the fold now. This has grown to be so much more. And I couldn't be happier for that. You know, it tells me that what I started has resonated with others, and it's growing. It's its own thing. Yeah. A goal I would love to achieve. I would love to have a convention someday. Be able to do a meet and greet and have everybody face to face, and
there's mental health conventions and stuff up in Oregon in May. I need to go next year. Remember when I went that week and I used
Yep.
I went anyways, there was this, it's called Peer Pocket. It's really amazing. It's where you go, you become like peer coach, a help where you can go through these little classes. You get credits or whatever, these little things, and so you can become a peer counselor, right? And you navigate and you network with people from all over the world, from all different types of mental health organizations.
Okay, you said this is in May, and how do I get there?
Yeah. So it's in Oregon, Austin. It's Peer Apocalypse. It's a really amazing thing. It's in Seaside, Oregon. Seaside, it's something that, right now, they're taking ideas and things like that for workshops and topics. They talk about all kinds of different aspects of mental health. Well, he let me go. And that was that one time that I went that 1 week to Seaside, and let me tell you, it was amazing. All the people that I met, all the network people from everywhere.
And that's
was that the one where you were a speaker? You were a speaker at it, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I did it with them, and I did it with NAMI, and then I did it with the Suicide Prevention and the Advocacy, which, if I end up after Cody graduates and everything, move back out to Oregon, that's probably when all of that will take place again.
And I was just looking at where Seaside is, and I see it's close to
Beautiful.
Astoria. and I have a
Yeah.
friend that lives in Astoria, and for
Do
anyone
you
that's
really?
yeah, and he moved there, and he loves it up there, and he's like, yeah, I live in Goonie City.
Beautiful. Oh, it is so beautiful. I've been all up that I-5. I mean, it's beautiful there. The last time, not the time before last that I went out when Cody came on his Thanksgiving break. Me, him, and Kane went to Seaside. Kane drove us. He wouldn't ride him. He was like, "Mom, I can't ride in cars." You know, not cigarettes.
But you know what?
Like, okay, cool. But we went up there. It's beautiful. They have like all kinds of conventions up there. They have like this little aquatic center up there. They got all kinds of shopping and malls and like Made in Oregon stuff there, and it's just really,
That's awesome.
it's really neat. Yeah, it's an awesome, awesome place to go. It's like it lasts for 5 days, 4 to 5 days.
What's it called again?
Peer Apocalypse.
Pure
Peer
Apocalypse?
Apocalypse. Yep. Once I move back up to Oregon, I'm going to start going again every year.
Okay, I was going to say, if I wind up going up there, will I see you there?
Yes, you will.
Okay,
Yeah, you will.
that would be
Yes,
awesome.
you will. Man, I think that helps a lot of people. That's a really good thing that they do.
I can't see how it couldn't help.
Mm-hmm. Oregon is really good about helping with people.
And and don't think that I didn't notice you got caught up in your feels about Pure Apocalypse. It was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, that's when a big old change happened in my life. I found out about the 12th by then. I think that I could account for affair that my ex-husband had with my friend that I went to church with, and I was like, well. So yeah, that was a really, really pivotal time to be up there. That was a great time.
Yep, actually, I see. I
Even
already
though
found
going
that
through
it's
that.
scheduled May 8th through May 11th, 2023.
There you go. Yep.
Found it.
It's an awesome thing to go to. It really is. If you can find it, yeah.
I am
you've
going
got
to
somewhere
drop.
to stay, so.
I am dropping it in our Discord. So if anyone is interested about Pure Apocalypse, I'm dropping in the Discord. If I wind up being able to go, God, I hope I'd get to go. I will make sure that people in the Discord are aware. I will be there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be cool if we can make it a trip where we can both make it. That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic. And well, let's see what day.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up the calendar now. I'm like, I am doing a quick research on this thing.
Yeah, and it's like people don't realize they have. I haven't found any here, which is not meaning that there's not any here in Oklahoma. But let me tell you, it really lacks. It's really like way step back, when it comes to mental health issues and things like that, because they just want to just give you medicine. But up there in Oregon, it's like it's so, I don't know, it's different. It's more open-minded. I mean, all my healing and all that came from when I was up that way.
Well, I'm looking at it. It's a Monday through Thursday in May, second week of May. Yeah, if you wind up being there, I will make we have to hang out. I have to give you a hug. Yeah, drop that
We
link.
got to finally meet in person.
Yes.
Hey, let's. You remember when you said that you think that you said that everybody should do their own write their own obituary?
Yes.
It's so awesome that you brought that up, because even my friends, they know I'm not going to do an obituary. I'm going to do a documentary. I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to say it. and it's gonna play at my little celebration of life because I'm getting cremated, and you got to have a password to get in. But I'm gonna do a whole video.
I'm giving Bexy the credentials to all my socials, so that way she could go ahead and have me critiquing my own celebration of life from beyond the grave.
Yeah, it was so funny. My youngest son's like, listen, Mom, I already know it shouldn't be like no whole bunch, like 200-300 people or nothing like that coming to your thing, because they don't know the password. Sorry, you ain't getting in because I'm guarding the door. And my mama didn't like you. So,
there you go.
You need to leave.
All right, so T, honestly, thank you very much for coming back. I think we've found a good stopping point for the time being. We want you back again. I know I want you back again. This is awesome. You were, in a lot of ways, you are in a better position now than you were last time. It shows. It really shows. You've grown a lot in a year. And it sounds like Oz has a lot to do with that, too. So thank you, Oz, for that. That is awesome.
Oh, no. Well, not in the last year, but before.
Yeah. No.
Oh, man, no. Oz has no idea.
Hearing that you had an easier time on the anniversary of your mom's death this year, that's awesome. The grieving process is tough. Yeah, the grieving process is tough. I haven't lost a parent, but I've lost a lot of people in my life. I dread the day I lose a parent. Oh my God, I dread that. But I've learned that I lost an uncle who was basically my second dad, and at times I was closer to him than I was to my dad. It is nice to get to the point where I think of more of the happy times I had with him, and they don't eat me up. And the anniversary of his death doesn't eat me up nearly as much as it used to. It's awesome to be able to start moving in that direction. Will it hurt? Always. But It is good to hear that you're not letting it bring you down to the same level anymore. That was awesome to hear.
That's right. Because there's no point, to get to that.
And there it is. As I was saying, the no bullshit hit tell it like it is.
Yep.
It's like somebody out there has had it like way, way fucking more worse than I could have ever imagined, ever even thought of even having. So I mean, I think like my life was like, people say it's like, to me when I say it's normal, to me that's normal. It's
your normal.
Yeah, it's my normal. It's just what happens.
Yeah. It's a rough normal. Let me tell you.
No.
And you survive. You survive and thrive through it all, which is really impressive.
Yeah, honestly, from this, just what I know of you, from the years that we've known each other, you could have rolled over and played dead, and I don't think anyone would have blamed you.
Yeah, but what they would have done?
You don't know how to do that.
You know what they would say? I knew she was just like her mother. No, I'm not. I am not like her. Mm-hmm. I am my own person, and I make my rule, and I do it my way. And I don't, I am my own person.
And I'm very thankful that I got to get to know you. And I'm glad that you're still in, my life. We don't talk as much as we used to. Life takes us in different directions, but I'm so thankful when I do get to talk to you.
Absolutely. And I'm always more than happy to be honest with you.
Thank you. With that said...
He is awesome.
Yeah. With that said, I'm E.
I'm Oz.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you, T.
You're welcome.